The first thing you need is a main board. I get a lot of mine off eBay and from flea markets and car boot sales. Most of them are listed as don't work, but if you know what you're doing, you can generally get them working. From car boot sales, probably a little bit less success, but hey, there you go. If you want to build a Windows 95, 98 PC, you really need socket 370, slot A, you know, or earlier, anything Pentium 4 and that. You can build Windows 98 PCs up, but they tend to have SATA and AGP and all sorts of other stuff, which I find doesn't work that well with Windows 98, especially Windows 95 especially. This one you can see PCI slots here. They're good for things like 3D effects cards and so on. This one's actually color coded to AC97, which means it's a bit of a later board. Doesn't matter. The hardest thing is finding the I/O shield to go with these. Always try and get the I/O shield if you can, otherwise the PC will end up looking rubbish. 128 pin slot memory, that's fine, that's what I'm looking for. IDE, that's brilliant. I don't really want SATA with 95, 98. Always change the BIOS battery because you don't want to keep putting in those BIOS settings. This one will probably have some kind of built-in horrific sound chip, I don't know. Well, okay, let's get it cleaned up and get it into a case. These are the cases that I use. They're new. You can still buy new beige cases from eBay. These are very good because they come with the proper retro backing plate. They also have a cool thing for your hard drive here that just comes off, where you can mount your floppy and your hard drive. They're quite cool. And it does have, you can see there, a nice beige front. This is for your CD-ROM drives and for your floppy. Got the various lights there that you need. Unfortunately, these do have a small fault in that if you look there across the top, a full-size CD-ROM and a power supply will not go in there. They meet in the middle, so there's no room for cables, so you have to find one of the smaller CD-ROM drives. Can be a problem if you're looking for beige, but if you don't mind black and free beige case, you're fine. But yeah, the beige ones tend to be the longer CD-ROM drives, whereas you'll be looking for the shorter one. First thing to do when you get your case is to put your I/O shield in. Always make sure it's the right way. Keyboards tend to go towards the power supply end. That should just snap right in there, like so. And then obviously you'll need to get your main board in. As socket 370 mini ATX, micro ATX. Put it in. Make sure you've got your mounting screws lined up properly. Some boards, especially some of the other boards, can be a bit warped. Just mount it as best you can in there. Make sure it's sitting nice and solid and secure. Some more pieces that you might need: IDE cables. I try to stick to one, slave and master. A small capacity IDE drive, 20 gig or less for these kind of operating systems, 95, 98. You can make them use bigger. I've seen Windows 98 on 80, 120 gig hard drives, but if you want that authentic kind of look or feel, you really need 120 gig or smaller. The smaller hard drives tend to be more expensive and noisier and less reliable, so I always stick around the 20 gig. IDE CD-ROM drive. This is one of the smaller drives. The other ones, like I said, do not fit into the case properly. So, but these are quite rare. The ones with the beige front and small are a bit more rare than the black ones. Here's the finished PC, mounted in its beige case. You can see I put an old, appropriate style ATX power supply in there. Tidied the cables up. The hard drive's in. I've not used an external graphics card or sound card, as the other ones were very easy to get going in the Windows 98. Everything now fires up. You can see it's quite hard to keep these ribbon cables tidy, but you can do it. The only thing that's missing from this one now is the floppy drive. I don't have a spare floppy drive at the minute. I am expecting some, but that would go in here and connect to the motherboard there, which will make even more mess, but hey, there you go. So let's get this thing fired up and see what it works like. Detecting the IDE drives there. I know the hard drive should probably be the master, but it just saves on cabling inside the PC. This is why it's essential that you change the BIOS battery, because you don't want to be changing the BIOS battery every 2 minutes. There's Windows 98 in all its glory, and see if we can get a little bit, a couple of games running. Try and get the camera looking a bit better at the screen. First of all, we'll try Doom. This is running, this is the original version of Doom, by the way, not some DOSBox thing or something. That's running on a Windows 98 PC, built from scratch. And you can see it plays beautifully. That's genuine sound blast, that's under DOS. Okay, we'll cut that out. And we'll just have a quick go, because I've also put Duke 3D on here, configured running DOS properly. You can't beat running the old DOS versions of games. The general MIDI isn't that great on this card, but it sure beats emulation. There we are. So I think that's about it really. I'll wrap this video up. As you can see, it's easy, very easy to make a Retro 95 PC to play all these games beautifully out of virtually nothing. Just scrap bits you might find online. Okay, thank you. Take care. Bye.